The new chapter of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex just dropped, chapter 9, and we have a lot to talk about. In the last chapter, we've seen Boruto telling Shikamaru what he knows about the claw grimes and why everybody is turning into trees, to which Shikamaru starts to wonder how much Boruto actually knows. We've also seen Kawaki looking for Boruto along with Delta, with Boruto escaping before he and Kawaki could even sense each other's auras, which makes Kawaki start to wonder about the trust he has in Shikamaru. Jura and Hidari attack the village, easily walking in and killing some Leaf Shinobi on entrance. Kawaki runs into the Shinju looking for answers on their identity, but Jura packs him up fast and puts Kawaki to sleep. He then thinks he senses Naruto through the tailed beast chakra inside Naruto, but when he arrives at his destination, he finds himself confused when he's facing not Naruto, but his daughter Himawari, and that's exactly where chapter 8 leaves off. Before we get into the video, please make sure to like the video, comment on some video ideas I can cover in the future, and subscribe and post notifications on so you don't miss when I upload. The chapter starts off with Jura talking to Team 10 and telling them that he and Hidari thought they were chasing Naruto, so imagine how surprised they were when they found a little girl instead. Shikadai starts telling the sensory unit what's going on and tries to get intel on why they came here to begin with. Jura then pulls out a book and reads up on who's standing in front of him, to which he learns it's Shikadai, the son of the current Hokage. Shikadai asks if he has a message for his dad, but Jura tells him that their business is actually with his predecessor and that they came here following his trail. Inojin thinks that there's no way Lord 7th would be here since what happened to him 3 years ago, but Shikadai cuts him off before he can finish and says that they don't need to know the information. Jura comes to the conclusion that Naruto shouldn't be anywhere in this village since the Nine-Tail signature they were following is coming from Himawari. Everyone is shocked with Shikadai asking what the Nine-Tails has to do with Himawari, but Jura responds saying he doesn't know either and that this world keeps raising question after question. And yet, Jura says he likes that as he attacks Himawari with the same wood-style jutsu he used on Kawaki in their encounter. Shikadai uses shadow paralysis jutsu to pry off the branches from Himawari, with Inojin using cartoon beast mimicry to pull Himawari out of the jutsu. Jura compliments their coordination and without even saying a single word to each other, so out of respect for their teamwork, he gives them a warning and tells Team 10 that their target for today is Himawari and that he has no issue with the rest. However, if they insist on resisting, they'll have no choice but to attack back. Shikamaru asks Shikadai if he's okay and to report the situation, to which Shikadai says their target is Himawari, but the reason why is unclear, to which we see Himawari just as confused as everyone else. We cut to Amato watching Delta telling Kawaki to wake up, and Amato seems to be wondering what Jura's identity is. We see Boruto and Kashin Koji seemingly in a hideout that looks a lot like a cave Orochimaru would be in, with Koji telling Boruto that the Shinju have made their move. Boruto asks if they're in Konoha, to which Koji confirms and tells Boruto to fly to the triangle, as we see Boruto immediately throw on his cloak and prepare to use Flying Raijin. We get back to Shikadai asking Jura why he's after Himawari if he said he was following Naruto's trail. Jura says that if he's being honest, the trail they were following was the Nine-Tails, and they happened to sense his chakra inside Himawari. Shikadai starts wondering why Himawari would have the Nine-Tails in her and that he thought the Nine-Tails was dead anyway. Jura repeats that he was surprised too, but that's why he needs to know why the situation exists. He says by devouring Himawari, he'll at least get one answer, and he tells Team 10 that they have been warned. We see Shikamaru telling everyone where their enemies are, but a Toad shows up behind Shikamaru telling him to link up with Ino because Boruto has just arrived in the village. We see Kawaki finally waking up and he tells Delta to stop yapping in his ear and that the damage is almost fully healed. Delta tells Kawaki that they're on the outskirts of section D, but Kawaki tells her to wait and that they have one more uninvited guest, as we see Boruto standing on a rooftop in the village looking at the shinobi that were killed by the Shinju. The Toad tells Boruto that it's a wood-style jutsu, so there's no mistaking that it was the Shinju that caused this. Shikamaru connects to Boruto and tells him that there are two enemies that seem to be the divine trees Boruto is telling him about. They supposedly came for Naruto, but now their target is Himawari, which strikes Boruto. Shikamaru tells him that it seems Nine-Tails chakra is involved, as he asks Boruto if that rings any bells, but Boruto seems just as confused. Kawaki shows up telling the sensory unit that he's confirmed Boruto's location. He asks Boruto what he's sneaking around for, and seemingly tries to keep up with his lie of Boruto being the enemy by asking if those monsters in the village are friends of Boruto's. Boruto tells Shikamaru to hold on since Kawaki just found him, and he asks Kawaki what is he playing around for when Konoha is under enemy attack. Kawaki says that's some serious self-denial since Boruto is Konoha's enemy, but Boruto tells Kawaki enough and that dealing with them is the higher priority. Kawaki asks if he's being mocked as he attacks Boruto with Sukuna Hikuna, but Boruto easily sidesteps them. Kawaki tries to use his rods again, but Boruto dodges as Kawaki tries to follow up with another attack, but Boruto punches him in the stomach, sending Kawaki Kawaki flying back a little. Delta is surprised at Boruto's strength, and Boruto tells Kawaki that he's pitiful and asks if he's even been training at all, but Delta says it's more like how much did Boruto train. We then see Kawaki start activating karma, which also makes Boruto's karma start to spread and lose control. I made a video a little while ago on why Boruto isn't using karma, and I came to the conclusion that he's not using it because he can't, and I went into why I thought that. Now we don't know why he can't use karma, but if one thing did get confirmed this chapter, it's that Boruto isn't using karma because he can't use it. But anyways, back to the chapter. The toad on his neck tells Boruto to leave and put distance between him and Kawaki or he'll lose control. Boruto listens and flies away, but Kawaki is looking sketchy as he realizes Boruto can't control his karma. We then cut back to Team 10 fighting Jura, and Inojin has Himawari with him in the air, while Shikadai has Jura tied up with shadow possession. He says to Jura that he might want to pay attention since they're the ones he's fighting, but Jura says that's too bad as he charges up a tailed beast bomb with his eye. Chocho throws him off balance, redirecting the tailed beast bomb and also not getting it to full power. So it didn't hit the village, but it went into the forest and made a big explosion that was felt even inside the village. We see Sarada and Sumire still running towards the battlefield, and as they see the explosion themselves, Sarada hopes for Himawari and everyone else to be okay. While in the explosion, Shikadai asks Inojin to pick him up into the air so that Team 10 along with Himawari can manage to get away for now. Hidari asks Jura if it's okay to let them get away, but Jura says their target is Himawari and they knew all they had to do was hand her over, but they intend to keep resisting until the bitter end, even at the risk of death. Hidari says they're fools and that they don't seem to be intelligent, but Jura tells him that's not true and that something is driving them past their own survival instincts. He says what that something is likely to be crucial information for them as well. While Team 10 are escaping, Shikadai says that was a close call and that there would have been nothing left of them if they had got hit by the attack. But as long as Himawari is still with them, they won't try another attack like that again, and he says that they should wait to see what they're going to do next. Chocho thinks it would be best to fly out the village, and Shikadai agrees and says they should lead them away, but he gets interrupted by Himawari asking Inojin if he could let her off somewhere alone. Himawari thinks she'll escape on her own, but Inojin says there's no way, and Shikadai says there's no way they won't catch up to Himawari. However, Himawari says it's the same for them and that the enemies are too strong, but we then see something weird happen with Himawari as she stops speaking. Shikadai is calling Himawari, but she's not answering, and we cut back to Himawari in the Mindscape-like world that we would see Naruto in, where he interacts with the tailed beast. Himawari wonders where she is, but a voice behind her says good grief and that they can't believe 10 Tails would sniff them out like that. He asks Himawari if she knows who he is, and Himawari responds saying 9 Tails, right? And that's exactly where chapter 9 of Blue Vortex leaves off. This chapter had everything. We got a lot of needed dialogue and even some answered questions. But as we all know, with every answered question comes a new question to be asked. I feel like the 9 Tails coming back is great, but we're in a case where this has to be explained in the near future. When Kurama was speaking to Naruto right before he died, he made it seem like he wouldn't be around anymore and he would see Naruto in the afterlife, implying he wouldn't respawn again like tailed beasts are supposed to when they die. But since he did respawn, we need to know why that's the case and why specifically inside of Himawari. I know a lot of people are having discussions about this topic, with some feeling it makes no sense and others feeling like it does and even fixes and keeps the tailed beast lore intact, but I would say before we go too crazy judging what happened, we should at least wait for an explanation since there's no way to tell where they're really going with this. We don't even know if this is the same Kurama or if this is a different 9 Tails with a different personality. Something I was theorizing about is if this is a 9 Tails with a different personality to Kurama but kept all of Kurama's memories. We know chakra is the link between others and it's how people connect with each other. Memories and feelings can be shared through chakra, and if this really is a different 9 Tails, I wouldn't be surprised if they kept all the memories of Kurama because of how chakra has always worked in the series. It seems like what Mitsuki had to say about Kawaki's strength actually had some weight to it, cause it wouldn't be crazy to say that he got embarrassed by Boruto this chapter. Boruto even calls him pitiful and wonders if he's even been training at all, which really makes you wonder what Kawaki has been doing these past 3 years. I know Kawaki seems to be getting the short end of the stick a lot ever since TBV started, but I think this is all building up to when we see him fight with Boruto. Kawaki needs these L's right now so that he can be pushed to the edge and snap in order to make a change and gain more power. In the flashback, we see Boruto tell Kawaki he can't believe he went this far, which means even after all Kawaki did already, he's had to have done something even crazier than anything he's ever done before. We know he just gained new information on Boruto and the fact that he can't control his karma. A lot of people have been theorizing that Kawaki might force Boruto's karma to resonate so that Boruto would lose control of his karma, thus bringing out Momoshiki and terrorizing Konoha. In fact, a lot of people are now thinking that's what Boruto meant when he told Kawaki that he can't believe believe he went so far. We know when Kawaki is being cornered, it usually leads to him taking things to the extreme and making necessary sacrifices in order to get the job done. This was shown when he reawakened his karma, or like when he started to lose his mind while talking to Ada, which is what triggered omnipotence in the first place. I have no doubt that at some point Kawaki will have a wake-up call and start gaining his aura back in the future, in order to see his go through and to match up with Boruto. I loved how this chapter showcased Jura's personality as a villain and how he goes about achieving what he wants. Jura is someone who's always seeking knowledge and wants to know the answers to every question he has. He's interested in the world and how unpredictable it is, and it makes him want to not take things too hard and find out what he wants to know. This is why he's clearly holding back on Team 10 and Himawari, and why he seemingly isn't pressured by the fact that Team 10 is getting away with his target. He instead wants to know why they want to resist, even though they know it's futile. Among everything else, Jura is trying to understand humanity and what makes someone want to defy what seems to be inevitable, and he thinks that it will be crucial for them as Shinju who have gained self-awareness. All in all though, this was a great chapter. If I had to rate it, I would give it a 9. I think we had bits of everything in this chapter and something to look forward to with the cliffhanger we got at the end of the chapter. Let me know what you all rate the chapter, and once again, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content.